Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who just says a bunch of stuff that sounds nice because he's scared all the time. It's Johnny Numb.
Look, Mark, I want my friend back. Come on. We're supposed to be friends here.
Listen, man, I'm going to hit you with this sword. All right? And it's going to go right into that pink cast of yours. And it's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah, it'll look pretty cool, but it's not going to feel good. Yeah.
All right, so before we get into Super Dark Times, a 2017 film that I adore, and you introduced me to it to continue our Feel Good series and also our Dark Month, which we're having at Movies, Films, and Flicks. Our Feel Good series, I love it. We actually fit a Feel Good movie into my Dark Month. It's perfect.
I love how you're doing a theme for April. That's awesome.
Well, it sort of fell together because I was looking at the movies I had, and I'm like, well, I should just do a month of this. It was not planned, but then I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's roll. Let's have it happen. Because I was looking at it. So I already had Darkman and I already had Prince of Darkness recorded. And then Zanandi and I had Dark and the Wicked planned, and you and I had Super Dark Times planned. So I was like, let's add We Summon the Darkness and Dark Shadows and a couple dark final fights, Thor the Dark World, and boom, Dark Month.
Oh, that's perfect. Love it.
It's great. Now, before we get into this, you have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, Billy Crash posted about his Carpenter films that he ranked. So he did he ranked the movies, did a sentence for each, really pithy.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess a lot of people complained about it, which blows my mind because, Johnny, if you had to rank Carpenter's, 18 films, there would be thousands upon thousands of different rankings you could have.
Oh, absolutely.
So for someone to complain that your ranking isn't the same as their ranking when there's a 1 in 500,000 chance, it's so stupid. I hate saying it's so stupid, but I'm just so tired of people complaining about lists. Here's my favorite films of the 1980s. And it's like, you forgot this one. No, well, I mean, there's thousands of them. There's literally like a million combinations I could do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, in last place was Ghost of Mars. And you're like, well, I need to write a piece of Ghost of Mars for Crash Palace.
Yep.
And you were joking because it's last place, but I'm going to send you the movie and you are going to watch it and you're going to write a classic, wonderful, thoughtful Johnny Numb review for it. I need a Ghost of Mars review from Johnny Numb.
Hey, Mark, I wasn't being facetious at all. I saw that thing in the theater and I loved it. I saw it in the theater and I still love it. So thank you for the offer. But I actually, to play 6 Degrees of Podcasting here, Doug McCambridge from the Good Times, Great Movies podcast sent me a copy of Ghost of Mars on the Nice Indicator label. So I'm well Ghost of Mars, and I seriously plan on writing a 20-year appreciation of it.
Okay, it better come, because I was like, I don't want to live in a world without a Ghost of Mars review from Johnny Numb. That's just a world I don't want to live in.
I do not understand the hate for that movie. Maybe if you stack it up against Carpenter's classics, okay, maybe, it's not The Thing, that's for sure, but I think it's a fun little movie in its own right. More like put yourself in the mindset of like a Roger Corman or a Charles Band film, and I think, your perspective will change a little bit. At least that's probably what my thesis will be for the review. So
in college, a guy knew me. He's like, "Do you like Ghost of Mars, Mark?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's fun." He's like, "I hate I'll never listen to any of your recommendations ever." And so whenever people talked about movies, like, Mark likes Ghost of Mars, don't listen to him. And listen, when I watch it, the villain the whole time is like, glabba, glabba, gloopla, Borussia Dortmund, like just saying the weirdest stuff. Yeah. Don't even know what's going on. It has Jason Statham, Natasha Henstridge, Ice Cube, Pam Grier, wonderful cast, Clea Duvall. Yeah. I mean, really eclectic cast. Very eclectic. There's a train fight. I love train fights.
Oh, it's cool, yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, people just, it's, and then people, it's not The Thing. Well, I mean, the term, like, Catch Me If You Can isn't Jaws.
Right, but it's a fun movie.
Yeah, like, Cars isn't Wall-E, but it's still a fun children's movie.
Mark, this is why I like you. You get it. We get each other here, right. I think. Yeah, that's good.
I was like, I gotta send Johnny Numb this movie because this world needs it. And if you haven't read Johnny Numb's reviews, he writes reviews. Well, you wrote a really great Roy Scheider piece for the Screening Space, and then you write reviews for Crash Palace. So check out Johnny Numb on Twitter. Check out his writing. I'll include a little link not a little link. That's very reductive. I'll include Johnny Numb's Twitter name in this when I release this, so you can go check out all of his stuff. And he has a good Twitter account too. There's some good like introspective stuff. There's some self-loathing. There's some interesting pithy comments. You know, it goes over a lot of heads. So you got to read Johnny, and then listen to all of our episodes. The House that Jack built. I'm really promoting MFF. House that Jack built. Green Room.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should just do this for the whole episode. And this will be the teaser. This will be the teaser for our actual Super Dark Times episode coming in the future.
Mark, tell me how great I am. Just keep going.
I'm just sitting back with my hands behind my head, thinking, yeah, I am all these things and much more. Yeah.
You're walking around like Thomas Jane strutting in Deep Blue Sea. You're just strutting through the Aquatica.
I was thinking of Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3, kind of when he does the dance, you know.
Yeah. I can see you doing that with the hat. You'd have to have the hat.
Yeah.
I
resemble Tobey Maguire more than I do Thomas Jane, for what it's worth. So,
are you a turtleneck guy?
You know, I never really developed a taste for the turtleneck.
Got it. Did it feel like a really weak person was choking you? That's a Mitch Hedberg joke.
Oh my God! I just listened to that album the other day in the car. Yeah.
Escalators can never break down. They just become stairs.
Only become stairs.
You have a lot of cranial accessories. I tried to make 7-Up, mix some lemon and lime, but there's more to it than that. I was saved by the buoyancy of citrus. That's my hero right there. Oh man,
Mitch Hedberg is the man.
I want to see a vending machine spit out vending machines. It would be so literal. Sun chips. Sorry. Super Dark Time.
Do you want a banana? Do you want a green banana? No. But I want a regular banana later. Yeah. So yes.
I saw a wino. He was eating grapes. I said, hey, man, just wait.
Oh, man.
Mitch Hedberg is my spirit animal.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I got all his albums. It's sad he's not with us anymore. But
he had a tumultuous life, but it led to some good comedy. But that's still sad. But someone said that what they said was he was like a comedian, where comedians would just sit in the back of the room and just watch him and laugh incredibly hard, while most people would just sit there and be like, "What is happening?"
I can totally see that.
Oh, he just crushed it.
Yeah, his wavelength was so unique, I think, and it's like perfect because it's just that random kind of absurd stuff, and it's like it sometimes takes you a second to get it because it's like it's so out there.
And speaking of wavelengths, when I asked you, hey, Johnny Numb, which movies would you like to do next? Because we had actually talked about all the movies I think that we wanted to cover. And you brought this up, Super Dark Times, directed by Kevin Phillips, written by Ben Collins and Luke Piotrowski, who are covering the latest Hellraiser movie, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Featuring wonderful performances, this film, from Owen Campbell, Charlie Tahan, and Elizabeth Cappuccino. Actually, Amy Hargraves is really good, too. And Max Talisman, and Sawyer Barth. I liked all 6 of them. They're all great. What, this movie hit your wavelength, correct? And why did it hit your wavelength? And why did you recommend it? Why did you want to talk about this?
You know, Mark, it's interesting because I think when I first heard about this movie, I think I'd heard people talking about, there was a little buzz about it, and we were in the midst of kind of the Stranger Things-assance, where it was like all 80s kind of all the time, and everything was an 80s throwback. You know, you had the movie Summer of 84, which came out around the same time. You know, I'm like, okay, it's all fine and good that everybody loves the 80s, and most of this is people who weren't alive in the 80s sort of experiencing the 80s vicariously, the music and the fashions and all that stuff. And I was like, well, you know, we haven't really had I feel like the 90s remains kind of an untapped era, and that's when I was a teenager, and I definitely resonate more with the 1990s than I do with really anything from the 80s. Granted, I love synthwave music. I love that whole trend that's come out of, you know, all this nostalgia. But I was like, yeah, it's not really my childhood. It's not really my teenage years. And I watched this kind of like thinking, okay, this is going to be like some Stranger Things, another kind of teen throwback to the 80s. And when I started watching, I was like, oh no, hell no, this is the frickin' 90s. I recognize it by the way things look, and I recognize it by especially the soundtrack they use in this movie, which is fantastic.
I love that. I've been downhearted, babe.
Yes, from the Radio Gods. Yeah.
Ever since the day we met.
Day I met.
Yeah, I love it.
Since the day I met.
We should just sing that for an hour.
Oh my God, people would stop listening in droves. Yeah.
How to Kill a Podcast.
Yeah, start singing Primitive Radio Gods. They're one good song. You know, there's Black Flag and there's like Juno Reactor at one point. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the stuff I started listening to in my late teens, and I just associated with utter coolness, basically. You know, these things that like you listen to them and they throw you back, you know, in time to when you first heard them. So that's just like one example. And I was like, this movie comes closer to being like, granted, the story, what happens in the story is not reflective of my teenage years, but
yeah, right.
I never got crazy with a samurai sword, but you know,
I used to throw throwing knives.
Oh, seriously?
I had a huge knife collection growing up. I got them at flea markets, and my mom would take me. I grew up in Florida. I also rode alligators to school.
I want the Mark Rides an Alligator to School picture book.
Every yearbook, every year, the alligator would sit with me in my picture. My yearbook quote was like most likely to be riding a alligator to my 9-to-5 job in 10 years. That was my superlative that I had.
I could just imagine you like riding an alligator down like the expressway to your job now, Mark. You know,
just on oh yeah, on Alligator Alley, that like it's a highway, and on both sides there's a lot of water. I could just be on the side on a really fast alligator.
And when traffic's all backed up, you can be like waving at the cars, like as you're making time, and they're all stuck there.
Is that a man on an alligator?
There goes the neighborhood.
Not him again.
There goes that guy riding that alligator.
It made pizza delivery hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, people probably gave you the money, though, when you came up to the door with an alligator.
Yeah, I sent the alligator up. I got great tips.
Yeah, it's like... you just like... You put like a sign on the alligator saying, pay me, and the people just like throw money at it and just slam the door really quick.
And then if I'm like, there's no tip here, I just stand and wait, and then like $5 gets thrown out.
It's like Night of the Living Dead. The alligator gets up on its hind legs and starts smacking the door.
Yes.
Till he knocks it over.
Yes. And I gotta say, Johnny Numb, this movie, I was the way these kids rode their bikes, and so
yeah.
Well, growing up when I lived in Florida, I was one of those kind of feral children of the '90s, and so you know, like the parents split up, you kind of do your own thing, you know, like you just ride around, and then eventually I moved further away into the country. But there was another kid, Ian and I, and we would just go, we would go into the woods. I would get a 6-pack of beer. We'd go into the woods and drink it. Like we would try to we would like go visit a neighbor, and she's like, hey guys, you want some of this stuff here? Like, yeah, we'll go smoke cigarettes in the woods. You just gotta, for some reason, kids just like to, I guess in the 90s, right? 2000. Oh, yes, this was the 90s because I graduated in 2001. You just like to go into the woods. Ride your bike out there. I mean, if you live around there. And so watching these kids sort of just mill around, go to the gas station. I used to ride my bike to the gas station and get food, and it all definitely rang true to me, this film and all the journeys they had.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Mark. And something interesting to your point about like this taking place in the 90s, there's like none of that overprotective parent stuff that we see a lot of today. It's like, you know, parents are afraid to let their kids walk 2 houses down to play with some other kids. You know, back then it was just like, it's like, okay, just go out, ride your bike and hang out with your friends, just be home by dark. You know, it was just like it was a different kind of time back then, I think.
Yeah, don't come home until dark.
yeah. There was like more of this, freedom to do whatever, I guess, as long as you didn't get picked up by the cops or whatever. So.
No, I definitely lived that, and I think the performances too. One thing I really liked about Zach and Josh in this movie is they're not the super popular kids, but they're not the super nerd. Like they're not the bad kids either. So when spoilers, when Josh goes bad, Josh is not the kid who has a bad home life. Who I know he's a middle kid. His brother's in the Marines. His younger brother's a prodigy, but he's not. You don't see any signs of abuse. You don't see any signs of the kid being a bad kid. Yeah. I mean, what you do, I mean, you know, there's some like 90s teenager misogyny going on there as they're trying to watch the scrambled stuff and the way they're talking about women. Definitely not not good, but like as far as you never see it coming, basically, this kid. And that's refreshing to me that it's not the bad kid. Like in Chronicle, the bad kid, the poor kid goes bad. And so it's refreshing to watch. Not refreshing to watch, but it's a different spin that this isn't the super nerdy kid. And it's not the super jockey kid. It's just a kid who people seem to like, people seem to know, people are chill with, and it all goes bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of interesting because even the dynamic, Mark, between between Zach, Josh, Charlie, who's a middle school kid, and Daryl. Daryl is like Daryl is like, yeah, he's like the mentally slow kid who has no filter, and you get the feeling he's like hanging out with them because, you know, it's like, oh, his mom said, it's like all the moms had an agreement to let Daryl play with their kids kind of thing. You know, it's obvious he's not really the popular one in this little group. So he's kind of like the lowest probably on the totem pole in terms of social strata is concerned. So.
And he's so boisterous, though. It's really interesting. He probably internalizes a lot of things inside.
Yeah.
And maybe the way he acts so boisterous is kind of a coping technique or a way to get attention and kind of show up. So, I mean, who knows what's going on in his brain?
Yeah.
But this kid, oh my gosh, Daryl's just a motor mouth. The things that comes out of his mouth, oh my gosh. And it's pretty interesting, too, when they're talking, it's Josh and Zach. And I think it's really interesting. And the way I open this up is when Josh tells Zach, you just say a bunch of stuff that sounds nice because you're scared all the time. I think it's interesting how Zach throughout is just saying, Daryl's a good kid. He's just, but Daryl's not a good kid. And when they're talking about the drug dealer kid who gets killed later on.
Yeah, John Whitcomb.
Yeah, John Whitcomb, when he gets killed, he's like, he's a good kid. He's just with a bad crowd. He seems to be a very interesting sort of apologist. He has those excuses, I guess, right? He makes these, he has these interesting excuses for everybody in this.
It's like he's giving allowances to people, like giving everybody their he's kind of like, look on the bright side kind of this person instead of focusing on the negative. And he kind of reminds me, Mark, maybe this is why I resonate with this movie, is because he kind of reminded me of me. I was kind of like the one, if there were three kids and, you know, if I was with two other people and the two other people didn't like each other, I'd be trying to mediate between the two of them to sort of like deflect conflict in a way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. You were the go-between.
Yeah, to keep kind of like an even I don't know, mood or whatever in a situation, kind of, rather than it's like, oh God, we got to fight over something stupid. Yeah.
I got to deal with, you know what I mean? I got to deal with, like, yeah. But you know what's interesting when you do that? I was just thinking about this. When you do that, you make allowances for the wrong side sometimes. Like, guys, let's just get along. And so is that, you know what I mean? But you're young. You're just, you aren't thinking in regards to that until you're probably our age. But it's interesting. Yeah, you're right. He's like that. He's just saying he's fine. He's okay. But these kids are jerks, and they were really rough on Josh, right? And the whole time Zach is trying to be almost an apologist for both sides. But Josh is more of an open type personality.
Yeah, I kind of like the moment where they're at Josh's house and Daryl's going on about bagel bites, and Josh is sitting there saying, I don't like them. They burn my mouth. You know, it's just kind of like he says what's on his mind, you know, but he doesn't always say it in that like confrontational way until things kind of ramp up during that scene in the park. So yeah, and then it spirals off from there, I think.
And then Daryl's like, "You're eating them wrong."
Yeah, you guys are lame.
I love his cadence, Max Talisman's cadence in that. It was a very interesting way that he talked. I really liked, it was an interesting performance by that kid. He was very, you know, by today's standards, like, man, this kid's horrible. But by 90s standards, talking about True Lies and all that kind of stuff, like, this is a kid you knew in the 90s. I mean, if you were a feral child of the 90s, you definitely knew this kid, I would say.
You know, the thing is, Mark, it's like, I think another thing about this movie is, you know, we're talking about the 90s, and I'm like, a lot of the stuff that goes on in this movie, I have memories of watching, you know, terribly scrambled Cinemax softcore, you know, on my TV. You know, it's just like stuff like that. And just like the stupid thing of like trying something gross from a convenience store. And it's like everybody has to try some because it's like kind of this follow the leader kind of thing. It's like, oh, well, I'm not a wimp. I'm going to try this dried squid. You know, I'm going to do this too. You know, I'm going to talk about, you know, sit with my best friend and, you know, talk about the girls in class in the yearbook or whatever. It was kind of like, that's kind of how things were in a strange way. You know, it's like, this is kind of indicative of certain things that I went through, in my own adolescence. So I think that's another thing that kind of hit so heavily, is that Collins and Piotrowski really kind of nailed that sensibility of that specific time really well.
I like the squid scene too, because everyone overreacts to it like it's the worst thing ever. But then Josh eats it, because Josh seems quite comfortable. Well, I don't know if he is comfortable with who he is, but he speaks his mind for sure. Yeah. And he is more confrontational than Zach is. And yeah, he's the only one who didn't react as if it was the worst thing that ever touched their lips. And that was just another interesting scene with them. But I think with the limited time, I think Kevin Phillips did a really good job. I mean, even the intro of this film where the deer busts through the glass window and the cop kills it, it just snaps its neck. He creates the score and just the mood that Phillips creates. And I know Phillips wasn't the DP on this movie, but Phillips, dude, he has shot Childish Gambino videos. I mean, this guy has shot the who's who of music videos. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the cinematography by Eli Bourne, you can just tell he and Phillips were sort of simpatico, or, you know, they were on the same page in the film. And I love the mood that's created. And I have a quick question for you, Johnny Num.
Yeah, sure.
Do you think it's the mood that sort of carries this film? Because we talk about the ending, and the ending does come fast, and I still like it. And after reading interviews I listened to a 40-minute interview with the director and Campbell and Tahan, and then I read some really great read a really good interview with the writers. But for me, this movie's really drenched in mood, and that's why I love it. Like, does Josh's, I love that we don't see his descent, Josh's. Like, we're never with him, so we don't see the turmoil in his head. And I love that idea, but I don't think that the execution didn't wow me, but I still love the movie. I don't know. Did the execution get you really well with that? Well, I mean, not literal. Well, there's a literal execution. Hey, real quick, before we get into this, and then we'll get into this question, but I got to get this off my mind. There's a theory out there that Allison, played by Elizabeth Cappuccino, but they call her Cap, that she was working with Josh to get him to do all this.
Really? Okay, so that's what you messaged me about. Okay, yeah.
And there's videos that have thousands of views. And
wow.
No. So the writers were talking about her. They said the Allison character specifically could have easily fallen into some variation of the manic pixie dream girl if we weren't careful. The audience could only see her when Zach sees her, and his perspective of women at his age is limited and somewhat naive. It's also innocent in a way. And we tried to maintain that innocence rather than fall into idealization, which does happen. This pursuit naturally led to Kevin's idea of ending and beginning the movie with her on her own, outside of Zach's perspective, which is really interesting. One friend actually told me he was frustrated with how we wrote her until he got to the final scenes and we realized we had been intentional in our choices. So I don't think she falls into the manic pixie dream thing, but I don't think in any way she's responsible for this rampage.
No, I that thought never even crossed my mind as a possibility. I mean, there's that one moment close to the end where she says, Zach's walking her home and Zach's talking about John Whitcomb and all that stuff and what's happened. And, she says to him, I like Josh, but I like you too. And I like you a lot sometimes. So that's like the only thing I could really pull out of the whole movie, where you could maybe make an inference that something's going on there, but not for a second did I think there was some sort of conspiracy going on against a Zach or whatever. That just seems. I mean, more power to the people who are invested in this, but I don't see that at all.
I guess it spreads the word of this film, but it just seems like a misguided theory. And I mean, and listen, a lot of people are like, well, Josh didn't kill Allison. Right, Josh killed Megan, and
they make it kind of hard to tell. I noticed. But yeah.
And so Allison at the end, though, she has the 3 scars on her neck, and when you watch the film, you notice that she touches the back of her neck a lot. And if Josh had a crush on her, he would know that about her, because he does seem very observant. Yeah. So he might have done that just in this fit of rage of like, you're mine, you're not Zach's, so you will remember me. He didn't kill her, but he did that very specifically knowing that she does that. I don't think he would do that to her if they were in league together. It's just the weirdest theory, man. And I think he did that as a power, as a cruel thing to do. Just, you will remember me type scar.
Yeah, I agree with that, Mark. I thought what happened was I thought maybe I'm misremembering this because it happens so fast. Because I was thinking he had like Christmas lights around her neck, but maybe it was just he bound her wrists and ankles with Christmas lights. So yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, and I can see that.
And he put the bathing suit top on her face that he pulled out earlier, and she told him to put it back. Yeah. So that was just a cruel maneuver from the kid. Mm-hmm. And a lot of, you know what's interesting? I've been reading so many reviews where like it's an idyllic world, and they just talk about Donnie Darko. They talk about Stand By Me more often than not. What's the Lars von Trier, Willem Dafoe, Antichrist?
Yeah.
And then at the end, and then it goes off the rails at the end. And I don't think it goes off the rails at the end. And you know what's interesting? You have Stand By Me.
Yeah.
And so every movie after the next 40 years with kids, like, that's Stand By Me. It's just, it's not a Stand By Me movie at all. These kids are older. I mean, there's a dead body, but they're not going to look for it. It's just the dread. It's more of like a Hitchcock meets.
Yeah.
I get the Donnie Darko vibe, but that was still the 80s.
This doesn't at all have like the sci-fi fantasy vibe that Donnie Darko has. I really don't understand the Donnie Darko thing, because that was used in the trailer too. It was like, oh, it's this Donnie Darko meets Stand By Me or something like that. I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah. You know what's interesting with comparisons, Johnny Numb, and I like saying Johnny because you say Mark a lot, so I like saying Johnny Numb. I like it. It makes me sound smart. You know what, Mark? Yeah, I think it's good. So I do think comparisons are a way to get people, oh, okay, cool. I know those movies. But I also think they set very unfair expectations because.
Yeah.
So, and also, what if people haven't seen them? It's Stand By Me meets In the Mood for Love meets Shotgun Stories. What? Daredevil is about that? I don't even know what those are. So it's a dangerous game to play, but Stand By Me, it's not. And Donnie Darko, it's not. It seems, okay, Johnny Darko. Johnny Numb, do me a favor. Give me a DVD quote for this movie.
Oh man. Okay.
And you recommended it, so it's on you. You gotta give me something good. I mean, we know that your power is untethered and ever growing.
I know, and the only thing I ask is if this comes out good, that the filmmakers use it when someone finally picks this up for distribution in a nice Blu-ray format. It's like a blade of nostalgia slicing through 90s sensibilities.
Whoa, yes, Johnny Numb, go do a lap.
Okay,
go do it right now. What?
I'm doing it from my seat, like I'm pistoning my legs and pumping my arms. Yeah.
No, I love it.
Yeah, my cat's watching me. She's not impressed. Yeah.
Yeah, my cat's sleeping too. She's awake. She's looking out the window. But they I don't know. We're reading the reviews for this film, and I'm very happy that it has a 90% plus tomato meter score. It has a 6 point something IMDb score. So people do like it. Mm-hmm. I just hate being reductive. I think sometimes when I was reading interviews too, like, remind me of this, remind me of that. And the writers are so gracious because Ben and Luke were like, well, I guess that movie must have been in our mind when we were writing it. And it's
yeah. So not to interrupt, but I think what you're getting at is like they just had this story in their heads. They wrote the story, and kind of anything that came out of any comparisons were just incidental. Mm-hmm. It's like I think when you put yourself in that headspace of writing something, it's like unless you're like Brian De Palma or somebody like that, or the Duffer Brothers, you're not thinking, okay, quote Indiana Jones here, quote Hitchcock here, quote
Jaws poster there.
Quote Gremlins here, it's like in
Ghostbusters there.
Scene 55, it's like Gozer surrogate comes out and threatens 11. It's stuff like that. I feel like that's kind of cool. I think because I didn't feel that when I was watching this. I mean, I did feel like a superficial Stand By Me vibe, but just more in terms of like it's a bunch of characters kind of going on this coming of age journey. But this one I feel is much darker than per the title, much darker than Stand By Me.
If I had to pitch this movie, it would be Elephant meets Antichrist.
That's good. I like that.
Imagine if I saw that on a poster, I'm watching it.
Oh, that's just like mashing up two specific art house sensibilities right there. Yeah.
I watched Elephant alone in a theater in Tallahassee at the Art House Theater. Nobody was in there. And that was an experience. Woof.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But I guess going back and sort of going to that tangent, and I hate going into people kind of making comparisons because it's an easy way to do it. It's an easy way. What's that movie like? Oh, it's like this. Oh, okay, cool. It's just like, but even explaining this is kind of tough to people. Two friends stab a dude. One guy stabs a dude in the neck, and then they hide it, and they're all paranoid. Then the other kid becomes a murderer, and then there's a big sword fight at the end.
Yeah. Well, it's not even a fair fight because, Zach doesn't even have anything. He gets it knocked out of his hand. It really is kind of like, I don't want to call it a slice of life movie, pun intended, but.
Oh, an A+ slice of life.
But it is kind of like one of those movies where just like this stuff, these guys are friends, this stuff happens, and it just irrevocably changes the dynamic of their relationship, as it would, I think, if this happened to anybody at any age, it would change, the dynamic of their relationship. And I think that's what the film kind of really gets in a big way is that awkwardness, you're complicit in this thing together. And what does that do? Like, how do you overcome that? Can you overcome something like that?
Mm-hmm. And when you're kids, the smallest thing can blow a child's world up. It's just like, I can't believe you did that, Dad. It's just the littlest things can set them off because that's what's important at the time. You say they're little, but if kids at school see your dad, I don't know, making you shove Listerine into your backpack, I don't know. Like they're just gonna make fun of you, right? It's world changing. So then you have a murder. Do you think? Okay, I don't think Josh meant to kill Daryl, but Josh, it went in his neck. What do you think?
I think that's one of those questions, Mark, because that we'd already kind of established that Josh didn't like Daryl. He called him a douchebag to Zach, and was kind of like the thing about I don't like bagel bites, they burn my mouth. And when Daryl's trying to like pinch Josh's brother's weed, he doesn't like that either. It's just all this stuff that seems to be irritating Josh about Daryl kind of having to be there. And I have a feeling that kind of swelled up when they were out in the park doing, chopping up milk cartons with the sword.
Oh, it's such a bad idea, but kids think it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, some of the dumb stuff I did when I was a teenager, I'd probably be out in I wouldn't. I'd like to think I wouldn't accidentally stab somebody with a sword, but I'd probably do something stupid like that. But yeah, I felt like it was an accident, Mark. Even though it does seem like that they don't show you how Josh falls and how Daryl falls on top of him. It's a very cryptically photographed moment. So.
Yeah, there's no answer. There's no answer to it.
I feel like the way Josh was like, he's in tears. He's got snot coming out of his nose when Daryl gets up and runs into the woods. I think Josh genuinely didn't mean it, and it just happened.
Yeah, because he's tore up over that. The one who deals with it the best is Charlie. Sawyer's a Charlie is a little gangster, man, playing Minesweeper. Internalize it and not caring.
Talking on his sneaker phone, yeah. That what do you think of that, Mark? Because he's a middle school kid who doesn't really. It seems like he doesn't really know the other guys that well, but like maybe they've hung out a few times. Actually, no. He introduces himself to Josh.
Yeah, when they meet. Go to the middle school.
Yeah, at the gas station. So maybe Charlie knows Daryl or something. But I was wondering, what do you think of the fact that Charlie doesn't quite have the same, paranoid, over the top I don't want to say over the top, but just, why doesn't he seem as affected by this whole thing as the other guys do?
All right, Zach is very emotional. He's very empathetic. He is very sensitive. So that's
sensitive boy with his pink cast.
That's right, sensitive boy with his. He picks the pink cast. He's just a sensitive boy. And then you have Josh who internalizes, so you don't quite know what's going on in there. And I think maybe Daryl or Charlie, my apologies, Charlie he seems to have a really nice house. Maybe he has a normal family. Maybe he just grew up completely different from them. Maybe he doesn't have as much empathy, which he shows, but then he also doesn't internalize. He just seems like a kid who does not want to go to jail. It's very mature for a middle schooler, but he doesn't care about it. It's it's very River's Edge, but he doesn't have the qualities of Zach or Josh. So I think everyone will deal with these situations differently.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I actually had a thought of the fact that, of the three of them, well, I guess of the two of them, between Josh and Zach, Josh plunges the blade in and Zach pulls the blade out. Mm-hmm. Charlie doesn't touch anything. And I wonder if Charlie feels like he's kind of on the outside of it because yes, he was there. Yes, he saw it happen, but he wasn't like actually handling the body though he does there's a great moment where, after Daryl falls in the woods and Zach's trying to cover him up with leaves, that Charlie off screen says, "Hey, you guys," and they turn to him like, "Oh my God, is this kid going to snitch on us or something?" There's that look of terror in their face. Is this over? Is this all over now? And Charlie holds up the sword and says, "We should hide this."
Yeah.
So maybe it is what you're saying, Mark, about it's more so that he just lets it roll over him or whatever, roll off his back kind of, and just wants to move on with his life. And
yeah, and he just doesn't have the Zach or Josh qualities.
Yeah, I love how Zach is all the soundtrack is blasting Black Flag's Nervous Breakdown as Zach is riding to the middle school to talk to Charlie, and Zach is looking all crazy, and he takes Charlie aside and tells him we gotta come up with a story, Josh didn't come to school today, and Charlie's like, well, so what,
Yeah.
And then there's this great close up of Charlie looking right at the camera saying to Zach, if anybody asks, we're not friends.
Yep. And if anybody asks, it's too late, right? Isn't that what he says?
Yeah, Josh says that.
Oh, Josh says that.
If anybody asks, we're effed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, Charlie's he's a gangster.
Yeah, and that's it. In the unfortunate circumstance of ever being in a situation like that, I would want to be the Charlie character. I have a feeling I'd be more like the Zach character than Charlie, but yeah.
Going full Willem Dafoe and Antichrist.
Oh, gosh. God, yeah.
Hey, so how about this? Let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will talk more Super Dark Times. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks, and I really like the explanation of what Ben and Luke said about the title, where at first they didn't like Super Dark Times, but then they thought to themselves, I'm gonna ask you a question, Johnny. Okay. What sounds darker to you? Johnny Numb, not Johnny. If I say, hey, Johnny, I'll be from Desert Heat, and I'll be Jean-Claude Van Damme. Hey, Johnny! Directed by the dude who directed Karate Kid. So Desert Heat is a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme in 1999, directed by the guy who directed Rocky and Karate Kid. And he's just it's a kind of a loose remake of Yojimbo, and it's horrible. But he's like, hey, Johnny! And he always says, hey, Johnny! This movie. Go for it.
I like it when you use my fake last name, Mark. I feel kind of naked when you just use the first name.
Yep, Johnny Numb. But you could have JCVD saying that. Johnny Numb! Hey, Johnny! All right, so what sounds darker? Dark Times. Wait, Dark Times. Or Super Dark Times.
I think Super Dark Times sounds darker.
Really? Because I guess for me, I'm thinking about hyperbole. I'm thinking about, those are some super dark times, bruh. Those are some super waves, bruh. That's the way I read, and that's the way the writer said it, because they thought that there's a little bit of hyperbole in there. Let me find the quote. It sounds casual, almost dismissive. Hey, what you gonna do? These are some super dark times. What you gonna do? It's some super dark times. It acknowledges the truth, but with a sort of youthful resilience that almost negates the darkness. That's what they said about Super Dark Times.
So was their original title Dark Times then?
So they said, I think it's Super Dark. What I think it was. I don't know if they had Super Dark Times. They had a couple titles that they were waffling between. But I just like that. What are you gonna do? There's some Super Dark Times. It just seems really. I like the hyperbole. I like the 90s-ism of super. It's Super Dark Times. It sounds like a good time, actually. There's some Super Dark Times. And we're gonna have some dark times. He went through some dark times, Johnny Numb. Or he went through some super dark times, Johnny Numb. Like, what's, you know?
Based on how I talked in the 90s, like, hey, that's not just awesome, that's super awesome,
That's fetch.
Yeah, exactly. Same Z's, Mark. Yeah. But no, that's what I was kind of thinking. It was like you said, it's another 90s-ism, and I thought that was kind of perfect. I mean, when I first heard of the movie and heard the title, I was like, what the hell is this? Super Dark Times. Okay. Okay, boomer, or whatever. It was just kind of like, what the hell is this? And then when I watched it, I was like, I thought it was kind of perfect. Dark Times sounds like that movie Dark Skies from years ago. It also sounds like that Jim Carrey movie from a few years ago, Dark Crimes. It's like there's too much with just plain, the dark half, Dark Shadows, the Dark Tower. There's just too much stuff with just dark right there in front of you. The first thing you see is dark. Why not put that super in front of it to, distinguish it a little bit?
Super Dark City. What would that movie be like?
For the Super Nintendo, yeah.
What would that be like? Super Dark City, starring Rufus Sewell and Jennifer Connelly. This summer, Kiefer Sutherland's a super dark doctor in a super dark city. There will be piers, there will be weird aliens, and there will be time things. Super Dark City, playing now.
I would like to see release the Proyas cut of Super Dark City, please. Yeah.
Super Dark City. No. Because you can't have just Dark City. That doesn't sound right. You got like Fool for the City. You got to have Super Dark City.
Yeah. I mean that sounds more 80s though.
Yeah.
The way you were singing there, that sounded more like an 80s ballad kind of.
Okay, give me a second. Super Dark City. Wait. I need to do a grunge voice. Wait. Don't call me daughter. Super Dark City. Like father, super dark father, your son is drowning in the flood.
With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now, super darkness.
I can see where I'm going. Where am I
super
now?
Darkness and contagious.
Where? I was in a cover band called Johnny Party and the Furious Funksters. That was the name
Seriously?
of it. Yep. And we would do 90s songs. We were a 1:40 a.m. band. And so when it was 1:40 a.m., we'd go on when everyone was drunk and we'd do our set list. And it didn't matter how terrible we were because we were never really practiced, but everyone just knew the songs. And so we never, like the guitarist never hit oh gosh, why can't I think of the name? The song you were just singing from Nirvana.
Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, it Smells Like Teen Spirit. You can never hit the guitar solo. And when I would do, like father, stepfather, your son. I could never hit that, so I would just put the mic out to the audience and let them sing it.
That is a high note in that song too.
Yeah, that one hits hard. And they wouldn't let me sing certain songs. Like we did Better Man, like we did.
Okay. Right.
You could do Better Man. Can't find a better man. Super Dark City.
Yeah.
And then just everyone knew and then we would do Damn It. We closed every night playing Damn It by Blink-182, and that's easy because you just yell, and I could do that really well. But yeah. That brings me back to I was in a 90s cover band, so hearing all these songs again, and that song, but Primitive Radio Gods, like that was on the Cable Guy soundtrack, I believe, soundtrack. Right. So I mean that song has been on so many soundtracks.
Yeah, it's a shame I bought the album like a couple of years back because it was like in a $3 bin somewhere because I love standing outside a broken phone booth.
You bought the Cable Guy album?
No. I bought the Primitive Radio Gods album on CD, and I listened to it and I was like, that's the only good song off of that album, unfortunately.
It's like when I bought that Meat Puppets album and the backwaters churn and there is something. Like that's the only good song on that one.
Yeah. Or Toadie's Possum Kingdom, probably, Do you wanna die? Super dark times.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that. Do you wanna die? Doesn't he take in someone to a boathouse to murder him?
Yeah, around the lake tonight.
Show you my super dark times. That song would have been good for this. a little on the nose.
Yeah, I think something about the soundtrack to this movie, it's actually a hip soundtrack.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't want to say that in the reductive sense of like, hey, we got a bunch of bands together to make a hip soundtrack. It's like actual stuff, like I said, that I was listening to or discovering like in the 90s when I was a teenager, and it was like this very awesome feeling of discovery, like, oh, like hearing Black Flag for the first time or Juno Reactor for the first time.
When Ace of Base came on, I lost my mind.
When was that?
I was joking.
Oh, damn it.
I saw the sign. Oh, I saw the sign. And you saw Josh. The sign.
I saw the sign. And super dark times, I saw the sign.
Light is damning.
With darkness understanding.
I got a new knife. I can barely realize it. I'm so glad I'll stab a person like you. Run away. What did you think about my Ace of Base murder song?
It was good. I liked it.
Change it. All right, back to this movie, right? Super Dark Times. There's a lot that we haven't really tackled yet with just the relationship with Allison, the dreams he started having, his unfortunate classroom thing that... It's like... Allison sees that. Like, it's weird talking about teenagers in this, but he has a dream about her, then she sees it, and she's like, ooh. But then she's still more intrigued of him. But do you think Allison just likes this flighty, weird... I mean, he's a cross-country runner. That comes into play later on. Chekhov's cross-country running. But he's...
That's true, yeah.
Or is he just like a 3-miler? I don't know what he is. But he must be cross-country, because that dude books it. But I don't know, she seems to like this weird guy, because that's the dude she's into. He seems much more accessible than a Josh. Like, so Zach, even though Zach is, I feel like Josh lies. Yeah. Zach doesn't. But Zach does lie, because he has to. But Zach seems like the more open, earnest kid. And Josh seems more dangerous, I guess.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what you were saying, Mark, about how Josh internalizes a lot, so you can't always tell what he's... where he's coming from, which I think makes him a bit more off-putting in his personality and how he carries himself. And I think with Zach, he's kind of like, he really wears his emotions on his sleeve. Again, Allison calls him sensitive boy with the pink cast, and I think there's this struck me from the first time I saw this movie, Mark, and maybe you read something about it or read an interview or something that could clarify this for me. I got real Oedipal feelings between Zach and his mom. Is that something I'm just reading way too much into? Because his mom seems very not touchy-feely in an improper way, but just like she's always asking for kind of affection from him. He's very loving towards her, It's like he's not like a jerky teenage boy who is like F you, mom,
Yeah, he likes his mom.
Yeah, exactly. She's kind of cool, and he's he likes her. There's no mention of what happened to dad in the situation. Yeah. Like we don't know if it's a divorce type thing or if dad died tragically, but whatever the case may be, they seem to have this really harmonious, functional relationship, mother-son.
I guess I didn't read that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Johnny. Okay. I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I guess for what I see it as, he always seems like he's been the sensitive kid. So maybe if the dad was never a picture, he just was the sensitive kid, and the mom kind of doted on him, and they just have this sort of close relationship, right? Because remember when Allison calls, she's really happy about it. She's like, a girl called, ooh. Yeah. And when she comes over, she's happy about it. There's no, there can be Oedipal undertones, overtones, undertones, the Mighty Mighty Boss tones. That's another good 90s, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I guess for me it just seems like the sensitive kid and his mom, like a kind of, for lack of a better term, the mama's boy, like just a sensitive kid. He's still young. He still needs his mom, and he's kind of, the dad's not there. He seems to love her. That's how I read it, I guess. That's how, because she also seems like the stereotypical 90s mom who, she's there. She's not the I'm not around 80s parent. She's the 90s parent who's just kind of like, my kid's a grown up. He'll be fine. Even though he's not. Kids in high school, there's very few kids in high school a lot of kids in high school go through the ringer, right? Yes, there's kids who are in horrible home situations, poverty, abuse. So they do have to grow up quick in some certain situations, but they're still kids. So I think there is a problem sometimes of just thinking, my kid's fine. He's a teenager. He's an adult. He'll be fine, because he's not. That's what I sort of read in it.
Yeah, did you think she was picking up on anything like his? Do you think she knew he was not telling the truth to her about Daryl? Like when she comes into his room and says, "Oh yeah, that Daryl's missing," and he's trying to like play it off like, "Oh, he wasn't with us. I didn't see him." Do you think she's, because there's a lot of like time spent with like the way people look at each other,
Yeah.
and kind of just like subtle little facial movements or eye movements kind of like that say, is there something more going on here? Is mom kind of trusting that her son is telling the truth, even though he's acting weird in a way that would tip off most adults to the fact that something might be wrong? Yeah.
Because she does give him the look, and you're absolutely right with that look that she gives him. She gives him I'm not buying it. But right. Maybe she's also just thinking he's dating a girl. He seems like the kid who has come home more than once and is just like, Mom! Like, they love each other, but he's just remember he calls her on the couch, and he probably gets kind of emotional with her because he's an emotional kid. Mm-hmm. So maybe she is a little suspicious, but never in a million years does she think, because he seems like an honest kid. So I don't, she gives a look though. That's the toughest thing. And maybe that's a credit to Kevin Phillips to kind of get you talking later on, or the directors, whatever their direction was. I guess she seems suspicious, but she just loves her kid. So she's like, he's telling the truth. It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah. It's probably kind of like a weird, balance between those two kind of contradictory feelings. I mean, I can't speak as a parent because I'm not one, but just I can imagine that's kind of like, well, yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. You're
a cat dad. Do you know when your cat has come home after whacking somebody with a samurai sword? Can you tell?
My Kima is like the laziest cat, and she's the least curious cat that I've ever known. So she would be like totally seamless. She would just like come in, probably lick her paw a few times, and like just curl up on the poang in my room like she's doing right now.
That's funny.
She likes IKEA furniture. So
we were just oh gosh, we got a porch, and we just got some IKEA stuff for our screened-in porch we just got.
Oh, that's freaking awesome!
Yeah,
all right.
I love it. One of our cats is probably out there right now enjoying life.
Is it closed in, or?
Oh yeah, we screened it in. I double screened it on the bottom. The guy's like, double screen? I'm like, do it. I'll pay more. I just want my cat safe. So like,
no, I'd be the same way. Yeah.
The person's like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm paying you. Come on. But they. And another thing, I was reading about the director and the writers, Kevin, Ben, and Luke, and they all went to Savannah College of Art and Design, or SCAD.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's where they met. And this is a crazy story. I'm not going to say what job or when, but I interviewed for this really cool job at SCAD, and I got it. And they called me up and like, hey, great news. But then they go, yeah, it's going to be in Savannah, not in Atlanta where you interviewed. And then we said it was going to be. I'm like, well, I can't do that. It would have been a sweet job. But they went there, they met. This script, Ben and Luke wrote specifically for Kevin because they saw the stuff that he was shooting. I mean, he has shot, let me go to his music videos, the stuff that he was the cinematographer on. This dude, he's worked for the Lumineers. He did Chanel. Childish Gambino. He's done videos for Grimes.
Death from Above 1979, I think, too.
Like, Neon Indie. Oh, yeah. I mean, just so many. Oh, yeah. Death from, so many good music videos. This guy has really shot some good stuff. So they wrote this specifically for him a long time ago. This is before, this is 2012 maybe, because one of the writers, I forget which one, had a dream about a samurai sword and then someone getting injured. And then I think Ben maybe had it. Then he asked Luke to come on. Luke didn't really want to do it because Luke loves horror. They like to write horror movies. They did Siren. They just like to write horror because they think horror is the genre that lets you have your cake and eat it too. It can be Trojan horse. That's why I love horror. So they got on it. They eventually talked to Kevin. They wanted him to do it, but it just took years for them to crack the script. Many, many, many scripts. And then eventually it came through. They shot up in New York. And they got, I don't know, I like the style of Kevin Phillips. I mean, they shot it on red. They had digital, but just the way he talked about the film, the way these kids were 17 when they shot it.
Wow.
So you still had to work with the Guardian rules when they were doing it. But during this talk that they had, he just said it's a movie about how stupid and awful boys can be. That's what he said. And he kind of said at the end, like, we didn't want to leave it with a very specific message. And I like that about it because there is a message about they like, one thing I thought was really interesting. The writers wanted this to be, we want it to be about watching someone you care about spiral into darkness and being unable to help or even understand. The powerlessness of watching someone go where you can't follow. It's Zach's story, and sure, he has a descent of his own, and yes, it's about guilt and paranoia and all that, but it's at the distance between the two boys that's at the heart of it. So I thought it was pretty interesting where the message is more about these two kids going through this tragedy. And I don't know so much as growing up, but Zach finally, he always made excuses and he just had to go there and take care of it. I guess he kind of had to grow up and own the situation that he did.
Yeah.
And then just not understanding his best friend. And they were quoted as saying, I was talking to my wife about this, where, there will be these serial killers who are married and everyone wants to hate the wife, but the wife will be like, I did not know. I did not know. I did not see it coming. And this is pre-internet. Now we can look at the internet and see really crazy comments people put out and you can watch them. But back in the 90s, when that happened, you're like, oh, he was just such a nice kid. I didn't know that would happen. And who knows how people were seeing it, but they wanted it to be like that in the 90s, where you don't see him like in Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween, going, oh, I'm evil now. It's just, I thought it was a really interesting concept for me. And that, I didn't need a message from that. I don't need a message from this movie because I get the movie.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Mark, honestly. I just feel like it's very much, it's like they just extracted this scenario that could, very well have played out the way it did in this film. And it just feels like kind of again, bad pun, slice of life kind of thing, going to the dark side of adolescence, and coming of age. And, I'll even say something about the Allison character. I like, the stuff you dug up about them not wanting her to be like a manic pixie dream girl, because she's not. And she's also she's not a dumb character either.
No.
It in some ways it's like kind of apparent that she's, well, they say girls mature faster than boys, so maybe that's part of it. But she's on a different plane from these guys. She's very intelligent. We hear a teacher complimenting her test score.
Oh, you'll definitely get an A on this one. 98.
Yeah.
Oh, great job, girl.
Yeah.
That was some interesting ADR dialogue.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of funny. I think that whole thing was kind of a bit surreal because Zach's kind of looking at her and admiringly from behind his locker door, and maybe he was exaggerating things a bit in his mind.
You are really smart.
But yeah, I kind of like that about her character, is that she's very aware of herself, and kind of where she stands in a strange way, where she stands with these guys, with Josh and Zach.
And her drug consumption, and she's totally chill, smoking weed. She don't care.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because it's not like, oh my God, who got the, her friend Megan in the film is much more like of the typical, like, I don't know what you want to say. She's a bit not quite as smart, because she's like, oh, hey, I got this weed. I'm gonna tear a page out of the Bible. It's not an important one, and smoke some up. But I like how it's kind of like movies that do use a female character to kind of drive a wedge between two guys, but that's not what's going on here. It's like that's kind of an incidental thing. I almost feel like, even though both of the guys do like Allison, it's not like, well, here's the girl meddling in things and making things complicated. It's not like that at all.
And what's interesting too is, they never took agency away from her, which I think sometimes happens in, let's say, like Can't Hardly Wait. Well, no, I mean, Love Hewitt gets some moments in that, but it's you get that kind of male, like 18-year-old gaze of like ownership, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's really none of that in this one, which is nice. It's she calls him a boy, like she's clearly the superior there, but it was refreshing to watch that, and it was almost quite different to me to see her type of character and to see her bookending the beginning and end and the journey she went on. It was an interesting choice, and I like that. Yeah, because this could have so easily fallen into the idealized type of role. But can I ask you something, Johnny Numb?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Johnny. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny. So, Johnny Numb, in Garden State, a lot of people make fun of that film, and I remember watching it in college. And I'm an emo dude, man. I'm super emo, and so I watched it, and I was into the music. I bought the soundtrack, and just it seemed very, I don't know. I like that Zach Braff went out and did it. For me, I give a lot of movies a pass when it seemed like a very untarnished Zach Braff vision. So Rob Zombie, Devil's Rejects, or some movies I really don't even like that much, but I'm like, this director, this was pure. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But Natalie Portman has received a ton of criticism for that role from people calling her the manic pixie chick. Well, I think Kirsten Dunst is way worse than Elizabethtown. Portman just said, listen, I was not getting those roles. I was Prince Amidala. I was Closer. I just wasn't getting the romantic, weird, offbeat, silly character. So she's like, I don't care how people thought of me. It was a role I took because it was just so different. How do you feel about Garden State and Portman's role in that? Because she doesn't mind it. She feels terrible that people make fun of her, but she just took it because she thought it was different.
Well, I can see where you're coming from with that. I only watched that movie once. I thought it was okay. I think if people should be less mad at Natalie Portman than Zach Braff because he wrote the script, you know. So what's coming through in her character is ostensibly what Zach Braff wrote, and I believe he directed that movie too.
Yeah, it was all him, man. That was his. Everything was him. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no. I totally get that because I saw his other movie too, and it has that same kind of feel to it, more or less.
Oh, the crowdfunded one.
Yeah, I wish I was here. Yeah, and I don't think people should be slagging on Natalie Portman. I liked her in that movie, but I also had this, feeling like it. I enjoyed the movie, and it's maybe like what you were saying about giving certain things a pass, kind of, just because you enjoy them, acknowledging that maybe they have some issues. Because I was like, yeah, she does not feel like a character who exists in reality to me, because it's like it's such a movie setup where you meet. It's like you're in a hospital, I think, or whatever, and he comes out in the waiting room, and she's sitting there, and they meet cute, and
the veterinarian, I think.
Yeah, and then it's like the relationship blooms from there. I mean, that's total movie magic right there. I mean,
and she's super readily available. I think that's another key to being a manic pixie chick. She's just, hey, you coming over tonight? Yes. What are you doing tonight? Anything you want.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I think the Allison character is a departure from that type of character, and I appreciate the writers not falling into that trap of turning her into like sort of the obscure, eccentric object of affection that just exists to be desired kind of the whole time. Even though she is desired, it's a different presentation of that type of character.
So one quick thing I want to ask you is, many of the reviews I read, they're like, yeah, he doesn't nail the landing. Many of the reviews say this over and over and over. He doesn't nail the landing.
Really?
Do you think that so even the positive reviews, this movie is so sensitive, it's good, it really brings you back, it's real, but he doesn't nail the landing. It just seems like someone read a review and wrote that, because no one ever explains why he didn't nail the landing. You just get a lot of, it was good, but it went off the rails. Well, why? So what do you think about this ending, Johnny Numb? You're a very smart human being. Why do you think that this movie stuck the landing? Or did it?
Seriously? No, I think it did, absolutely. I mean, I loved this movie, and for the reasons I've stated, plus a lot of stuff I haven't gotten to articulate, and I don't know that I can articulate properly. But I think that ending where Josh goes apeshit in that house, and when he hits Zach with that sword, I felt that, I felt those impacts, it was just like, this is like, it was just literally emotionally and, almost vicariously in a physical way, I could feel that sword hitting. It's like, this is the relationship being literally hacked apart, in pure visual terms. And when they go out into the front yard in the rain and they're scuffling and Josh plunges that sword through Zach's leg, I'm like, ooh, it's just like, this is the end, it's like, well, and then it does actually end. And I'm like, part of me is like, well, what happened to Josh? What happened to Zach? Why don't we get any follow up with them? But I'm okay with that. I can sort of surmise what happens to Josh. Did Zach wind up telling did Josh wind up telling the truth about what happened? You know, did they ever find Daryl? You know, and I like how it just then cuts to Allison, and it's like her, you know, the final scenes belong to her, and I love that we see her as a passenger in a car, but we don't know who's driving the car.
Yeah.
And it's like then she's in a new town and a new classroom and starting a new life ostensibly. You know, I just kind of it's strange how the music swells on this alternative song that I don't know what it is, and it just cuts to the credits, and I thought it was like perfect. Yeah.
Also with the cast, I found out the Pink cast, that wasn't in the script, and that was the idea of Owen Campbell.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's oh man, that's cool.
So then they came up with the sword bit in the cast later on based on Zach's suggestion. The interview with them is about 40 minutes long, and Owen and Charlie, they're just young kids. They're very, very, very awkward. Okay. But it's worth watching because you can get a kind of feel on Kevin Phillips.
Okay.
So if you're ever bored, I forget where it is. Maybe I'll send you the link later on. But if you ever want to watch that, it's not a bad little interview because there's really not much on the Blu-ray. There's not much out there for this movie.
Yeah, I have it on DVD, and all it has is a trailer and a commentary track, which I haven't listened to.
Wait, there's a commentary track?
I bought it on DVD years ago, so I don't know if there's a Blu-ray. There might be more stuff.
Oh.
I haven't looked to see if someone actually picked it up because I think it was like a burn-on-demand DVD that I bought through Amazon.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
so it's possible. It's possible someone's upgraded. I hope so because this movie deserves, you know, a better, presentation in the physical media universe.
I'm in a super dark mood now.
Okay, man.
All right, so how about this? Before we get out of here, let's do a dark movie draft.
Okay.
All right, movies with dark in the title, and I will let you have first pick, Johnny Numb.
Oh boy. Oh, you know,
there's
I watched
a lot.
This, you know, and I'm actually just looking at my movie shelf right now, so I should have plenty of ideas. How about And Soon the Darkness?
Ooh.
The 1970 version.
Okay, not the Amber Heard one?
No, not the Amber Heard Carl Urban one. I haven't seen that one, but I kind of want to, but I've heard it's terrible. So.
Okay, so you went funky. So I'll do We Summon the Darkness.
Oh, you know, I really like that one, Mark. I can't wait to listen to the episode on that.
Yeah, as an audience, I just watched it again. I love how light it is. It makes me so, like, they could have really explored cults and brainwashing and that kind of stuff. But instead, it's fun. It makes me happy. All right, who are you picking second?
Oh, dark.
There's some ringers in here. I'll let you pick them if you want them.
Apparently, I have more movies with death or dead in the title than I do dark. How about let's do dark, man?
No. Yeah, you can do it. It's fine. Okay. That's a great movie. I'm gonna do Dark City.
Ooh, yeah.
Dark City.
Super Dark City. Here we come. Okay, this is like probably my favorite vampire movie. I'm glad I thought of this one. Daughters of Darkness.
Oh, okay, good. Because I'll do Near Dark.
Okay, good. Yeah. So
I thought you were taking Near Dark. I was like, no.
We both win in the end, Mark.
Yeah.
It's a team effort.
Okay, who are you taking next? You got.
Oh God.
You might get annoyed when you find out a few of the ones you missed.
Probably. I'm I never know what kind of draft you're gonna do, so I always like blank out.
Johnny Numb has fallen apart.
Yeah, Johnny Numb is. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, I know my next one.
Stammering. Oh.
I just IMDb'd it. I'm cheating.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead? I need to cheat too.
All right. All right. Oh no, you can totally use IMDb. I know what I wanted though, because I've been dealing with dark all month.
Yeah.
I am gonna take. Oh gosh, now I'm falling apart.
Oh wait! I got one.
Okay, what do you got?
The Dark Knight.
Oh no, I'm done. All right, I wasn't gonna do this. I wasn't gonna do this, but I have to combat the Dark Knight now. I'm gonna take Army of Darkness.
Oh.
I wasn't gonna pick it. But Dark Knight.
Now I'm wishing I'd picked that one instead.
There's no way to battle Dark Knight, so I had to pick. I had to go strong.
So do I have another one, or is that it?
Yeah, one more. Don't try to get out of here. Unfriended Dark Web hits hard. I like that one a lot. Dark Blue, Kurt Russell. Dark Star.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many. The Ghost in the Darkness, Dark Tide, Halle Berry. Oh, The Dark and the Wicked.
Oh.
Under Siege 2, Dark Territory.
I can't do The Dark and the Wicked because you just said it. I feel bad taking that one.
Well, I take it. I know what my fifth one is. I've had it the whole time.
You know what? Thanks, Mark. Give me The Dark and the Wicked. I did like that movie a lot.
Okay, so you got The Dark and the Wicked. All right. I am going to take Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. I love it. We picked funky ones.
Yeah, that's it. Those are two funky squads. I'll be interested to see I'll be interested to see how the carnage unfolds on Facebook.
Well, thank you for joining me, Johnny Numb. I had a great time on this.
Oh, thank you, Mark. This was a lot of fun taking a trip down memory lane to the 90s.
Oh yeah, I'm real like I had heard about this movie. The name just didn't draw me in because I was like, oh man, like super dark times, but this is a super good movie and I enjoyed it.
Awesome. I'm glad you did. You know, I was hoping you would. So yeah.
It's a super pretty good movie. What are we doing next, Johnny Numb? Pick a movie.
Oh,
what do we got?
Man.
We had a couple ones that we were talking about that we never did.
Yeah, we had someone we had someone in the queue.
Yeah, we had some good ones.
You know what? I haven't watched this movie in a while, Mark, and I'd love to watch it again and talk with you about it. Let's do Killer Joe next.
Yes. Please. Please. Tracy Letts, Friedkin.
McConaughey.
I just wrote about that too. The Chicken Wing, Thomas Hayden Church, Emile Hirsch. Oh man.
Bring your bucket of fried chicken and listen to us talk about Killer Joe.
Doesn't he yell yes at the end of it, Killer Joe? He's like, yes. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Of spittle. Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you for joining me, man. And do you want to tell them where to find you on Twitter and stuff?
Yeah, sure. You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Johnny Numb. There are no H's in those Johnnies, but there are B's in the Nums. And as Mark said, you can find me at CrashPalaceProductions.com for my movie reviews for the Last Knock horror podcast. And I'm also writing over at the Screening Space now. So there's also that.
He's everywhere. He's right behind you right now.
With a sword.
Yeah, he is everywhere. But thank you for joining me, man. You class up the joint, and I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this one.
All right, so for me, wait, this one? What about the other ones?
Well, just this one, Mark. I didn't want to tell you about the other ones. I just enjoyed this one.
I'm going to cry.
I love you, man.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Johnny Numb, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.